George, can you hear us? I think we've gone live just a few seconds ago. We were all over there earlier, but some technical issues with all those. We've done it 4 times now, and there are always technical issues. Initially, you get extremely stressed out when you have to delegate all that, and then the stress alleviates in a bit, and then you know that you've got to deal with technology. So it's incredible. So apologies for that. We see quite a lot of people are coming in. Loads of people are joining in. So we have to wait for a little bit because I see people are trying to connect, and more people are coming in. So Spiros was earlier, and George Lambiris from Food Reporter, who's going to be the moderator. So how are you? Has the Nordic holiday finished in a sense, or is it you've got a little bit of break and then back again, or what's the routine? What's the situation? Anita?
Well, I'm working this week. Thank you. I had a few weeks of vacations in the beginning of July, and I will have a few weeks again in August. So I'm a little in between. Yes.
Okay. Jochen, you mentioned earlier that you finished and you're back again you're going back again for a week. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I had 3 weeks right after our big holiday in midsummer. So I had fantastic weather. At least the first week was fantastic here. So, but then I have another week in August just to spread it out a little bit. So
excellent. And Jochen?
Yes. So there are still, I think this is probably the last week of major vacations in Sweden. Next week, I think the Nordics and Sweden will start opening up again. So I've had a bit of a Corona summer, working from wherever there's no people, basically, but it's good.
Spiros, summer for us in Greece, is it going to be a break later on? We've got a different summer season. Traditionally, August is the summer season for Greece. Is it going to be the same this year, a summer season, or we're going to have a COVID summer break after COVID summer break? What's the situation, you reckon?
August.
We are... I don't know. George was earlier over there, so I don't know. Maybe he's got some issues with the joining in. Oh, there he is.
We can't hear you. Yeah, okay.
Apologies. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Anita, you wanted to ask something?
No, you were just silent for a moment, but now you're back. So now it's fine.
I'm looking as well at the administrator panel, so I can see people are joining in. So I was waiting to see George over there. Well, George has joined in, but he's talking now with the IT and the rest of the people. Otherwise, we're gonna proceed a little bit. Well, oh, there he is.
So, Antonis, we're sort of at two ends of Europe, aren't we? So, I mean, but in Greece now, summer in a meteorological way, I think it's on its way. What's your weather? Is it sunny, clear skies, really hot, or are you having a mild summer?
Yeah, it's a hot summer. It's a hot summer. It's a very contrary weather, but so far it's a hot summer, it's been quite a change since the last few years, where we had a rain season over the summer for most of the time. Now it seems to be again, it's gone back into the hot weather with a bit of condensation as well. So
how does that work out for farmers? Does farming work the same way, or does that the lack of the rain season, does that mean poor harvest? Or
this period now, as you know, Jochen learned, is the winery season. So everyone, the wine, all the winery owners are in the vineyards, and they are trying to get ready for the harvest. And the wine sector was globally very much affected with the COVID, because it's very much interlinked with the food service sector, the hotel, restaurant, catering sector, HoReCa sector. So it's been a very, very difficult year for everyone in the wine industry, because of the last year's wines that haven't been given out to the restaurants, and they've been still stocked up, and also the new wine that is coming. So this is a challenge here, I think, across the world. It's a major challenge.
So wine is a social drink, right? So when we have social distancing, there's going to be less wine consumed, obviously. So that's obvious.
Yes. Well, Spirits is here. George, he's going to be joining, and I think he's got some issues with the network currently at their other company. That's why he texted me. So he's going to be joining. They've got a whole issue with a network in the company. So I'll be starting to say thank you very much all for joining us here. It's part of a series of webinars that we've been running around this period, because we would like to inform Greek companies about the export opportunities in different countries that we know and we work closely with. And this today is about the Nordic market, the Scandinavian organic market in a sense, but it will be about the food and drink sector overall. And we would like to talk about trends, opportunities, what's going on over there in the Nordics, and we can share your experience, and you can hopefully shed some light to us. We have quite a lot of people that have actually joined in now, companies, and they're eager to see you, to discuss and hear your ideas and views. So I'm just gonna introduce to George and pass on to George, because he joined us. George, hello, can you hear us? Hello, George? No, he's frozen. So anyway, I'm going to proceed with the first question. And the first question, Anita, is for you. I would like to thank you very, very much for joining us today. You've got a very long and successful background in the business of sustainability, retail, international trade, and you are now the managing director of KRAV in Sweden. And KRAV is a very special organization. It's one of the oldest organizations that's been promoting organic and sustainable food. And I would like, please, to ask you, because there are quite a lot of people, entrepreneurs and people here that are not aware of KRAV. Can you please tell us a bit more about KRAV and what's its role in the market?
Thank you. And thank you for having me in this webinar. Yes, so KRAV is an organization that has been running for more than 35 years. So it started, in fact, far before, when the organic movement started, perhaps in Europe with the legislation and so forth. So KRAV is organic, and it has its basics on the EU regulation for organic production, but then we have added some values that the Swedish consumer thinks are very important, and mostly we are focused on 4. It's climate, it's animal welfare, it's health, and it's also social responsibility. So those 4 areas, we make sure that our rules and regulations are even perhaps tougher than the EU regulation. It goes further. So Krav is a very, very well-known brand, eco label, you can say, or a sustainability label even. In Sweden, 98% of the Swedish consumers knows Krav, and it's also perceived as very, very trustworthy. So it's a good added value to have Krav on the products, because it really sends the signal that here is something that you can trust. You can be sure that they have been controlled by third-party actors. So that is something good to add. Now in Sweden, for quite some years now, producers can sell, of course, both organic products with the EU regulation, the EU leaf label on them, or they can add the Krav label if they want to. And the market for, if we look back perhaps 10 years, the market of organic has grown tremendously. And today about almost 10% of all food products that are sold in Sweden are organic, and approximately nowadays 60% of that is Krav labeled. But I'm sure we will come back to that. But in the recent years, due to many reasons probably, the development of the organic market had slowed down, or perhaps even are now in the same level if we look back 1-2 years ahead. But we are very convinced that it will grow again. There is a lot of awareness when it comes to sustainability in Sweden, and it's a growing awareness. We think that food supply chains are very complex, and you need to have third-party labels to help you, to guide you as a consumer. So we think there will be a new upgoing trend for organic and Krav within 1 or 2 years. But perhaps I can stop there. I'm sure you have other questions.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much for sharing that. Johan Lund. I would like to, we've got quite a lot of questions. First of all, you're the category manager for white and rosé wines and high alcohol wines and spirits as Systembolaget.
Yes, that's correct.
We've got quite a lot of people actually who've joined from the wine industry, for producers of organic or conventional wine. So, and other people that are not aware of the system of the Nordics or the head of. Now, all the Nordics, except Denmark, runs alcohol retail monopolies, and Systembolaget is a Swedish solution to this. Could you please describe the situation, the role of Systembolaget, and what it offers to the consumer, and how you manage your sourcing, please? Is 3 questions, but it's all leading to one. So, what's Systembolaget? What's its offer to there, and how do you do your sourcing? Thank you very much.
Okay, well, let's start to why we do have the monopolies here in the Nordic countries, and the reason for that is the social responsibility that we have to provide alcoholic beverages under a form that the interest is not the financial interest, but to make sure that the consumers get the right products, but they are not pushed to buy more than what they really want. So that is sort of the basic reason to why we are here. And we have been here for quite some time. I mean, I don't know if you know that, but it already started in 1870 in Sweden, that they started the first monopoly in one of the small villages up in Falun, in just some two hours drive from Stockholm. And the reason for that was the same thing, that they had, of course, problems with the alcohol consumption that was too high, and just to help people and control it and make sure that it was all done in a proper way, they created these monopolies. And we are continuing that work to sort of provide people with what they need, but we are not providing with more than what they need.
Okay.
So I mean, but if you go to the assortment and how we work with that and what we provide to the consumers, that is actually, we try to provide with what they want. So everything that is standing on our shelves is things that our customers have selected and think that and that they like. And it's we introduce new things all the time and test and see if that is something that our customers want to have. And if they want to have it, it stays on the shelves. And if they don't like it, it moves out of the shops. So we have a sort of rotating assortment all the time. But everything is based on what the actual customers want to have. So we don't decide ourselves what is on the shelves. That's actually what the customers do. So we have a system for how we do that. But I mean, that is the sort of basic idea. But of course, we should help them to make good selections. And one of the things that we are pushing very much is, of course, the organic that we have been working with for quite some time now. I know that we had a difficult start in the beginning, but today around 22% of all the wines are organic, which I think is outstanding for not only for organic products here in Sweden, but all over the world. I don't think there's many countries that comes close to that big part of the wine sales that is organic.
Okay. Interesting that. We've got quite a lot of questions for you, and we're going to move into some questions about that will lead into the Greek products in the Nordics and the general feel about that. But I would like first to introduce Despina Markopoulou. Well, Despina, you are the coordinator of the private standards department for BioHellas, which is one of the largest organic certification bodies in Greece. And you also offer craft certificate verification services. First of all, I would like to ask you, how would you describe the Greek organic sector? Has it got the skills and qualities to enter the new market, and especially a competitive and demanding one like the Nordic market? I think there is a sound coming from your work environment, and it fits through to the microphones.
Can you hear me though when I speak?
We hear you, but there's a bump and a noise coming through from the environment, which
it's weird because nobody's talking, but we have new offices which are quite big at the moment, so maybe that's the ambient sound, because nobody else is speaking at the moment. Anyways, I believe that it does. I think the Greek organic sector has been steadily developing, although, again, even in Greece, the economic crisis has halted its growth. But I should note that the average organic farming area in Greece is about 9 to 10% of the total utilized agricultural area. And you should remember that the EU average is around 7.5%. So we're doing better. And that shows the interest in the Greek farmers towards organic agriculture and then the investment that they're doing currently. I do believe that Greek products have a comparative advantages and that they would help them gain significant shares in the international market, even in the Nordic one. I should remind you that we have exceptional climate conditions, in particular the Greek sun. As we mentioned before, we have a lot of sun in Greece, of course. High biodiversity, the existence of an extended coastline, and all those provide natural competitive advantages for growing high-quality products. And that's where we should invest. And some Greek products, mainly dairy products like feta cheese, olives, honey, they have managed to exploit this special quality and flavor attributes that they have, and they have created high consumer awareness in international markets. I think the strategy is basically to target high-income countries with branded quality organic products in packaged form. And therefore, I believe that they do have the quality to enter new markets, and especially in competitive and demanding one like the Nordic market. Our problem here is that a large set of organic products are promoted to the final consumer in bulk form, and thus losing the potential value added from packaging and most importantly branding. But I think we should, unless I'm not sure if you know or not, but many in Greece, the agriculture is based in small family-owned dispersed units. And I think with a high promotion strategy, they could, since the product is of high quality, they could definitely enter the Nordic market.
Okay.
And if you want to ask me something more?
No, that's fine. For the minute we lost you, but we come back. Yeah, thank you very much. So there is a demand from your perspective, being there as a certification body. You value the Nordic market. From what you receive from your clients, Nordic market it is actually a good market and a good target market for the Greek products. Yes.
Yes, I believe it is, because there is a demand also for craft certification, as was mentioned before, and we have a steady number of clients in the last years that do craft verification, and I think it's the Nordic market in general could be a target market for high quality good products, and there is a good interest, and I think yes.
Yeah. And we lost you.
Most of the products represent the yes, can you hear now?
Yes, we lost your connection, but we lost your connection for a bit with this.
Okay, maybe you can ask me again what you didn't hear.
Yes, you mentioned about the Nordic, the demand for the. You mentioned about that Nordic market is a target market, and then we lost your signal. So
okay.
The dairy, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that we have a steady number of clients the last years that are aiming at the Nordic market, usually applying also for craft verification. And they mostly represent the dairy industry and exporting mostly feta and other dairy products. But I think that high quality products also like olive oil and olives could be definitely a product that could reach the Nordic markets.
Okay. Speaking about dairy, and before we lose your connection, Spiros, are you with us? Can you hear us? Spiros? Hello? Spiros, can you hear us? Spiros can't hear us. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Can't hear. Can you hear us now? Oh, he's gone. Major issues with the networks nowadays, and I know that George they've got a problem with, as I mentioned, with the whole building in their communications office. So he's trying now to sort out and go remotely from there. Going back to you, so Nordic market, it is actually an important market for the Greek agri-food sector, and I would like, please, to Anita. I would like to ask you a couple of things, please, because apart from being the managing director of Craft, you also have got a vast experience in the retail, especially in Sweden. So you've been, the whole A to Z side of the food business in there, because you've been in different positions. So I would like to. We all know, first of all, that in the Nordics, there are two successful chains that stick out, ICA and the K Group. So can you please explain how their purchasing works? Because those are two major clients, could be potentially two major sourcing clients for the Greek food production companies. So how does the purchasing works, please?
Oh, that was a big question. Well, yes. If you look on the Swedish market, approximately 7% of all the food is sold by the food retailers. 30% goes to public procurement. So don't forget that part. I think there's an opportunity in the market there as well. And when it comes to the public procurement, also to restaurants, there are a few wholesalers which I would recommend you to have contact with. There's Menigo and Martin Savera, for instance, and they are, I would say, could be a good introduction to the public procurement and also to the restaurants. When it comes to the food retailers, yes, it's in Sweden there are 3 major players, and ICA is absolutely the biggest one. And I should not ignore the challenges to come into the retailers in Sweden. So I think it works probably as many other countries, that you need to get in contact with their category management and to just try to make sure that you lift your product's benefits when it comes to sustainability, also price, of course. So I think there's not a huge difference on how they work and how they do their procurement. What I would also recommend now is, especially these times, is that the market for internet trade or shopping is growing tremendously. I assume that is a trend in many countries in this Corona times, but also food is selling a much more via those internet trade companies, and there are a few others that could also really more perhaps to start with them and to see if that could be a good introduction. If I was a Greece producer, I would rather try those first. They are not so big, and they are a little bit more, how should I say, easy to get connected to, I think. And also they are a little bit more eager to find out maybe new products and test more. So that's my tip, to try those actors.
Right.
Johan could have something to say about that also. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you repeat the names, please, of those companies that you mentioned?
So it's help me, Johan. It's Mathem.
Hemköp. Alltså Mathem. Oh, yes. So the e-commerce ones.
Yeah, the e-commerce ones. So Mathem. .se och den andra heter nu är jag my brains are on vacation here. Mat.se and mathem.se.
Okay, we'll send the information and we'll feed it through to all the people. We'll attach it. Jochen KG. Hello. I know we had connection problem, so I welcome back again.
Thank you.
I would like some questions to you, please. An introduction. You are the managing director of organic sourcing, but you've been in the organic sector for 20 years. You've been engaged in building systems for international trade with organic products, and you, as well as developing all the domestic and international market for craft certified products. So you know the Nordic market really well, inside out, I would say, how it works and all the supply chain. Now, with your background, please, can you give us some figures for the organic market for food products imported into Scandinavia? Can you please give us some figures of that? How much food is imported?
Well, so I mean, Scandinavia is basically a region that's not really self-sufficient in food. So there's a general import going on, and there's a general openness to international food. While local food is always considered high quality and attractive, the international food is widely accepted. And so as for organic products, I think Sweden and Denmark are the largest markets. Sweden is by far the largest, but Denmark has a higher share. And these markets are both at or above 10% of the total value of the food market. And out of the organic food, roundabouts half of it is imported. Now it depends if you count by value, by volume, or it varies by season and stuff like that as well. But about half the organic market is imported. In Finland and Norway, perhaps a bit more by value, but those markets are also, on the other hand, a bit smaller. They're still developing quite a bit. Iceland, being the little brother in the family, it's a very small country and it's a very special market. You find your special ways in there.
Okay. Now, we've got this question thank you, Anita. You send us over the actors all right, and we'll pass them on to the people. Thank you very much for sending those across. So a question that we've got from many companies that are actually sending us the questions across is, first, you are consumers, all of you, Anita, Jochen, you're consumers, first of all. Apart from wearing your professional hat in your field, you go every day to the supermarkets and you buy goods and you shop and you give presents and etc. So question is, what's your perception on the Greek food and beverage? What's your perception of that? Do you see many Greek products on the shelves currently? And I would like to start with Anita, if you don't mind, guys.
Yes, we see a few Greek products on the retailer shelf, and those are mainly that have been talked about: olives, olive oil, the cheese, feta cheese. So mainly there. I don't think I've seen any honey. So they are there in those categories where you perhaps as a Swede are expecting them to be, so to say. So I haven't seen what I can recall other categories at the moment, but they are there. Not that many. I'm sure there is a potential to have more, and perhaps also in other categories. The trend in Sweden now is very much to eat much more vegetarian food. So there you need, of course, more different kind of grains. And the Swedes consumers are quite open to try new grains and products when it comes to vegetarian products. And also when you cook that, you also need different kinds of cheese with good taste. So I think I'm sure there is opportunity there for the producers.
Thank you very much. Johan Lund, please. The same question over to you, because you're a consumer as well. What's your perception on that? Is there a room for Greek food and beverages? Is there room there in the supermarkets, in the deli shops, in the artisan, generally everywhere they sell food? Is there a room there for Greek products? Is there enough Greek products over there? What's your perception, please? And on the wine as well, if you like to be more specific, speaking about with your professional hat as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a room, of course, for it in the food shops, but talking about wine, there is definitely should be a bigger room for Greek wines in our assortment than we have today. I know both me and my colleague, which is a category manager for the red wines, have been introducing new Greek wines on the market just to test and see if the consumers are ready for that. And we can happily say that we see a big increase in the sales of Greek wines here on the market, meaning that it looks like now that people are more open for Greek wines. I mean, everybody knows that Greece has been a wine producing country for many years. And actually, if Greece hadn't produced wines before, probably we wouldn't have seen much wine production in the rest of Europe. But people are, even though open, the consumers are very open to try new things. They are a little bit hesitating when they're not used to some origins. So that there are a lot of fantastic wines around the world, but the Swedish consumers don't know so much about it. And actually, for Greek wines, the only thing that has existed here, and which is very well known and accepted, is the Retsina wines, which is maybe not the first wine that you would like to introduce to Swedish wine connoisseurs, because there are so many other good wines available in Greece. And then you have the next little problem, that the varieties that you're using in Greece is maybe not the most known ones, and they have strange names. So that could make a thing a little bit complicated. But we see definitely an opening. And I just looked at the figures for the red wine sales of Greece, from Greece now, rolling 12 months in June. And we had an increase from last year with 55%. So around 600,000 liters of Greek wine was sold the last 12 months here in Sweden, of red wine. On the white side, which is as good as the red wines, I would say, they are not so. There are good development, and people are accepting the wines, but not in the same way as for the red wine. But we see an increase in the sales for the white wines too. So I'm quite sure that we will slowly get to a point where also our customers understands the quality of Greek wines.
Okay, interesting. Very nice. That's interesting figures you actually shared with us. Thank you very much, Jochen, with this. This is a really good number. This is a huge actually increase, and it shows a really good potential for the wine, and that's only in Sweden. Yes, so across the Nordics, it's a huge potential, and obviously the relationship between Nordics and the Baltic, the N8, is definitely it shows an even higher potential and perspective. Jochen, KG, the same question, please, to you, because you've been in the business for years as well, as we said, and all these years you've been in the business with craft, looking after all the distribution, the products, knowing all the channels, visiting stores, markets. Have you seen many Greek products there? Have you come across a wide range of products? And what's your feel of the future, please?
So, I mean, that'll be more of a reflection, I think, as a private person, consumer, rather than, what I might have seen at Krav. But I think when I look at the range of products currently, it seems to me that Greece is underrepresented somehow. We find quite a bit of Spanish olive oils. We find quite a bit of Italian fruit. We find French products and stuff like that. But the food that I know from my couple of trips to Greece, I don't see a lot of that in the shelves. And I would think there is a great potential for many reasons, and one being that there is, quite a few really long-lasting connections and relationships between Greece and Sweden. Lots of Greeks moved here, 30 or 40 years ago. Lots of Swedes go to Greece for vacations. There are lots of warm ties, and the categories seem to be there. So I would think there is a great potential. Now, looking at it slightly more professionally, I think there's always the red ocean, blue ocean issue. So are you going to compete on price, or are you going to compete on quality? And then it's the uniqueness that Anita mentioned. Or do you have something that's unique? So you'll have to look at each product themselves, and if you look at innovative products, novelties, totally new products, well then maybe it doesn't matter that much what country it's from. Greece is not bad, but it's just that it's new that's interesting. New and vegetarian and organic is very likely to have a great success. Looking forwards, I agree with Anita that organic is a robust sort of platform at the moment, and it's growing. I think its growth now is quicker in Finland and Norway than in Sweden and Denmark, but it's from lower levels. From a consumer perspective, the issue is a little bit with the consumer is not just looking for organic; they're looking to solve they want to make good food that's sustainable in a bigger sense. And at the moment, I think a lot of these consumers are having challenges choosing between meat, non-meat, and organic. So any products that are not meat and organic, I think, are likely to be very successful in the future. Where, for example, feta is something that could work really well.
Okay, interesting. Despina, you mentioned that there is an interest for CRAV certification process in the first question. Could you please tell us how many companies apply per year generally, and what sector do these represent? To have a sort of a feel about the overall sort of perspective of the interest.
As I mentioned before, we have a steady flow of companies that have been steadily certified for the last couple of years, and they mostly represent the dairy sector. So I believe that's why you're seeing feta cheese with CRAV feta cheese, because they mostly represent dairy products. Feta and other cheeses, maybe in general dairy products. That's our main. That's the main products that we have at the moment.
Dairy is number one. Dairy is domineering.
Number one. And so I do believe that there is a huge gap there for olives and olive oil and maybe even wines. I think wines are a hidden treasure in Greece. We have great wines. And you should be able to taste them. Not just in Greece, while on vacation.
Thank you very much for the promotion, Despina. That was really good. Anita, you mentioned also the honey. I would like, and thank you very much for that, because honey is actually Greece. It is a honey producing country. I would like to take it a bit further and ask you for other products. We've got dried fruit, figs. That we've got in Greece. We've got various herbs, teas. We've got the Mount Olympus teas, and companies that are now mixing and they're creating different sort of products which are infused and functional teas. We've got different sort of cereals and breakfast commodities, breakfast bars, different types of juices, different types of free from vegan. So is this also another sector that could possibly find a room and a room on the shelf of either a retailer, shall we say, either directly or through a distribution channel? Is this something where consumers will appreciate?
Yes, I'm sure. Besides the growing awareness of sustainability, there's also a huge interest in health, in your own health, and all those products that you have now mentioned are, of course, very interesting. So I think you are right on, you're spot on. And as also Johan said, it's important, of course, that those products have a good quality, that you can lift the added values that your products have. so that the purchasers get interested in your products. Of course, there are so many competitors out there, so you need to have good quality, good price, of course, but also added values as health, as sustainability, to be even allowed to come to the table, so to say. So I think all those products are good if they are within the health, the vegetarian era. So you need to get in contact with the category people within these companies.
Brilliant. And do you see that the demand for the organic market will be constantly rising? Recently, all of us around the globe experienced something quite unique, quite unheard of. All the COVID-19, which is still with us, although we're talking about a post-COVID, is still there with us. This has created different habits and different consumer habits across the globe. People were trying to move into organic because it's related to no artificials, to better health. And globally, we see, well, at least in the UK, which is a market that we know really well, it's been a huge increase during that period, and it shows that the increase is here to stay. So we're talking for a growth and especially in specific categories. What's your feel about that related to the Greek products? So my question to summarize that is organic the next? Is all organic the big sort of sector that we need to target as Greek agri-food producers? This is what we need to concentrate. Do you see a rise on that?
At the moment, due to the corona pandemic, we see that the Swedish consumers, at least initially, and at this point, they want to buy Swedish products. And I'm sure that German people want to buy German products, and French people want to buy French products. So in Sweden, yes, the urge for Swedish products has absolutely increased. And I just spoke with other Swedish producers that they cannot fulfill the market at the moment. But at the same time, there are lots of products that we cannot produce in Sweden, like the figs, like the olive oil, and so forth. So there is, of course, and also as Johan mentioned, about 50% of, in fact, all food in Sweden are imported. So there is still a big possibility there. Is the organic market growing? No, not at the moment, to be frank. But again, as I mentioned, the e-commerce, the internet retailers, they are growing. And if you look on their market share, you can see that the organic part of their sales are much, much bigger than the physical retailers. So here again, I think that's the best shot and the best opportunity to try to talk with them, because there you can filter, of course, organic, and people do filter organic when they shop on the internet. So hopefully, as I said in the beginning, I think after a while that the organic trend will increase again, since the discussions are absolutely, just as you say, that people are becoming even more aware and even more worried about the planet. And here the organic is really, really a good answer. So yes, I think it will start to grow again. Maybe not 2020, but 2021 and thereafter.
Okay, that's really interesting. Really interesting you sharing that. Thank you very much for that. Jochen, what do Greek wineries, breweries, and spirit makers need to do in order to win a share? What do we need to do? We have excuse me, currently I can see we've got at least 15 of the largest wineries and spirit makers attending the event with us. And this is a key question for them. What do we need to do? And if you can please, I know you are obviously you're wearing the hat of Sister Bolagen, but I would like also to give us a little perspective, if you're able, about generally the Nordic market as well. So basically, what do we need to do to get more wines over there, spirits? We've got amazing breweries, microbreweries that do fantastic beer, fantastic ales in Greece the last few years. What do we need to do to go over there and show them? Because I know you appreciate your beer as much as we do. And then what do we need to do for the Nordics, please?
Just a small comment regarding the organic wines. I mean, we are still pushing this is organic wines in our shops and promoting that to our customers. What we can see now is that it's sort of stabilizing. We do have a growth in organic wines, in a sense, organic wines, but we can also see that there is a huge demand from the world market, which means that we don't get that much of organic wines to our market as we want to, because the change over to organic production isn't going as quickly as the demand is increasing. So that is a huge problem for us. But as
Hello?
We have been pushing the organic for so long time, we have the big advantage that we have good relations with organic producers in all the countries. So we do still get quite good volumes, but not as much as we want. So if we had got the volumes that we wanted, we would probably have still continue to increase the part of organic wines. And coming to that, I can also say that for Greek wines, the organic part is tiny. It's much smaller. But I do think that there are the possibilities to produce organic wines are great in Greece, because you don't have the same problems with humidity and things like that that could cause big problems, and you still have good weather that keeps your grapes healthy. So there should be a possibility. Though I don't think that is the main issue to really be present on the market, because even though we see a good increase in the sales of wines here, it is still needed to push your wines and to introduce them to the customers in those ways that is possible on the market. So to continue and promote them, that is one thing that I think is very important. If we move to the beer, the situation is a little bit different, because what we can see now is, we have lots of microbreweries in Sweden. They have grown as much as in the rest of the world. And the demand for locally produced, as Anita talked about, is increasing a lot. Meaning that when we launch new beers from not established producers, then they have very big difficulties to stay on the shelves, because the demand for the locally produced beer are so high, and there are so much possibility to find good beers from Sweden. So the customers is preferring to buy local beer than imported beer. And I must admit myself that even though I do taste a lot of beer also, but I have not come in contact with so many Greek beers. So I don't think that for Greek beers here in Sweden, there is a good work to present that to our category manager for that, or to our buyers of beer.
Sure.
As far as I know.
Of course. As we all know,
I could be wrong about that, but I think that for beer it's a different issue than for wine.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, I certainly agree with you. I would like here just to talk about to ask you about the branding, because we all know that the world is geared towards consumers that create the demand, and they buy, they are the driving force to any decision behind the head buyers of retailers, distributions, and etc. So brand building is a very important aspect, which is to our experience is the A to Z to a market. So even with a beer, do you think that even with a beer, which is such, as you described, a difficult commodity to enter because of the supply, do you think that good branding could eventually, and the option there and availability will eventually create, will open up the door, shall we say, for more products to come in, even in that difficult category? And the question, yes, I would like to ask Jochen and then Anita, please, on that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I think, I mean, if you look at brand building for beer, then you have the lager beer, which is working, because I mean the lager beer is by far the biggest volumes that we sell here, and actually it's still increasing the volumes that we sell. So everybody hasn't moved to craft beer and ales and things like that. So but in the lager side, the volumes needed to stay on the shelves is huge. I mean, we're talking about millions of liters a year that you need to sell to be able to stay on the shelves. But of course, there you have the big brands that are doing the best work. So the brands that are established on the Swedish market, they are selling huge volumes. Of course, both the international brands like Carlsberg or Heineken, but also some of the big local Swedish breweries are doing good work on the lager side. So yes, I would say that there is a possibility to build lager brand. I must admit, I don't know if there is any big Greek brand that the tourists are getting acquainted with when they go to Greece. But maybe that could be something that if you have those kind of brands that works on the in tourist places in Greece, then that could maybe have something that could work here. But I don't know. It's a very tough category to get into the lager beer side. But of course there you have the brands and the brand building. On the ale side and the craft beer, it's more the sort of small breweries and you know from people here from friends that this is a good beer. So that's normally the way that is introduced to the customers, I would say.
Thank you very much. Anita, I know that you're very time sensitive and you need to push off in a bit. So yes. I would like to thank you very much for coming along. And I would like to ask you to summarize and sum up and give an answer to this question, as I said to Jochen, and also if you can give us your tip, apart from the beautiful tip you gave about matse and mathemse, which you've sent. What do we need to do? Us, in a simple sense, what do Greek producers need to do? Tips. Can you give like a guide, a 5-step guide, 3-step guide from your experience? Because you can do that. You've got the whole experience in there, and you've been a buyer, you've been in the purchasing team for many years. So what's your advice, shall we say?
Well, I think you are pretty much on it as you have presented it, that you need to present good products with good quality. That is a main thing. When it comes to the branding, I think here are more opportunities to build perhaps new brands. They don't need to be so well known from the beginning. It's good if they are, but there's also possibilities to go into the market with an unknown brand, because the Swedes are fairly open to try new things. But again, quality, that you have a story to tell about your products, that you can definitely make sure that they are sustainable, preferably organic, or some kind of a third-party organization that proves that they are safe. that you are within the health categories in one way or another, preferably again vegetarian, because that's growing, and tell a story that the consumers want to hear. That is something that goes beyond just a common product, so to say. You need to be curious. You need to feel, well, this is something I really want to try as a purchaser, to see if it fits in our category, within our company. So I think mostly is said, and I'm sure you are right onto it, and you just need to get in contact with the purchasers in each company.
Thank you very much. Now we've taken the initiative with Jochen KG to create this partnership because we've got the two different worlds, and all the wealth of experience that Jochen has and Organic has with all the roles, and us, we've got an international background from the UK and from our experts, but as well being in Greece and having the office there and being in contact with the companies, we decided to create this Greek-Nordic Trade Week, because we believe that everything needs to be directed towards two gears, a B2C gear and a B2B gear. So we need to approach, create branding, show new products, and be there for good, rather than make approaches on ad hoc basis, but build that and create that momentum and growth with this. Do you think that such an initiative, which we would like to get more products as described in the market, present them to the buyers and give them the story and inspire them behind that, in order to pass that inspiration to their consumers and to the teams? Do you think that this is something that would you consider it, from your perspective as a consumer and as a professional with experience, as indeed a good strategy?
I think it sounds interesting, and I think absolutely that is worth trying. So to be here on a more regular basis and be persistent. So I think absolutely go ahead and try that, and I really wish you all the luck. So I'm sure it will be successful.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I know you need to push off. Thank you very much, because I know it's still your holiday season in between, and Jochen KG is still on a holiday retreat, and he's got a network issue and is connecting back and on. I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jochen KG, before we lose you again to your retreat, I know you've been trying back and forth to connect, and I know, and thank you very much, because it's a holiday season for you. And I would like to ask you, what do you see about what enticed you into that idea and the recommendation of moving and creating together that sort of Greek-Nordic Trade Week? What do you see behind that, and what was the thing that made you jump and say, yes, is a really good idea to do that?
Well, I think it's the observation I make that there are a number of products on the market that are available from other countries, but perhaps not from Greece, where I think Greece does have, carries with it a lot of connotations about, tradition, which is important when it comes to food. There's lots of stories. There's lots of things to say about Greece and Greek food and beverage production, which is not being said. And now, so that we got in touch and we realized that the Nordic Organic Food Fair could not happen as planned this year, we started thinking of new ways of creating the relationships and the contacts needed. And now we've found new ways. We're having webinars rather than having seminars. We are setting up matchmaking meetings virtually rather than physically, and that'll probably be the way to come through this year. And so it's a combination of seeing the potential of Greek products and having to find new ways, and that way we ended up, with the conclusion that Greek is probably an interesting way of going. I'd like to also add one thing, actually, perhaps also a question for you on Lund. So when we're talking about organic products, we're talking about consumer group, but we can have different names, but LOHAS is an important abbreviation to understand. And this group, or this thematic group of consumers, tend to be curious, as Anita was saying. The organic consumer is curious, which would possibly be an asset, something good when you're trying to enter a new market. But so my theory here is that organic consumers as such are more likely to try new products. They are not so much stuck to what they always buy. And so this is a question I just want to see if Systembolaget has any experience with that. Are news easier to launch in the organic sector, if you wish, than in non-organic? Could you support my idea here or the statistics we have about the organic consumer being more curious, which would be a really good thing if it's true?
And that's a good question. I'm not sure if I know the exact answer on that. Customers selecting wine, they have different views depending on what kind of knowledge they have about wines. I know that we have a big group that actually goes into our shops and they don't buy anything else than organic wines or organic products. That's for sure. So okay. And of course, I think that they are, as you say, they are probably open to try new things as long as it's organic. So in that sense, yes, introduce something organic, and then definitely we will have the organic consumers that goes to that. Though, if we look upon a wine and Greece as a wine country, a Greek wine is not cheap. If it's cheap, it's really not. It can't enter to the market because it's not good enough to get on the market. But if you want to have a Greek wine on the market that is good enough, then it costs a little bit. I know it's expensive, considered as Greece still is considered as a new wine country, though being one of the oldest one. The consumers are not maybe so prone to buy these things if they are not very knowledgeable. So if you move to that category that actually knows a lot about wines and they have a big interest in and they always select good wines, then you need to have something really, really good there to make them try it. Because for sure that most of the sort of wine connoisseurs here in Sweden, they don't know much about Greek wines. I mean, I worked for a company that had a lot of Greek wines in the portfolio and introduced that both to journalists and to consumers. And for sure, there is a lot of education needed to be done. So organic is one good thing to use, but still, I mean, the basic for the wine and the Greek wines on the Swedish market is to educate people that this is something really, really good. I think that's the sort of better way to try to get it. And to reach the connoisseurs, because when you get the connoisseurs on, they introduce that to their friends, and then it sort of rolls on. I think that's a way to do it.
Antonis, which I think is basically speaks to your what you were saying about building a Greek presence, a Greek story within the Nordic countries, which could, use that, and could be used in training the connoisseurs or other, early adopters on the market. So I would think that one part of the strategy that would be important is to use, quality, really interesting products that the early adopters and the connoisseurs can talk about, use, write about, whatever they do. So entering with with the support of a Greek story, focusing on quality products, I think is an interesting track.
Yeah.
Yes. And Jochen, you really well mentioned, you mentioned something and you actually hit the nail on the head, because we met a long time ago through the Nordic Food Fair, which we are both an essential part of that, which unfortunately as all the trade shows have been cancelled because of COVID. And Greece, the last few years, had a very good presence at the market, especially with the support of Enterprise Greece, which is Enterprise Greece is the national brand, is the actual organization. The national organization is supporting exports there. And we had a big pavilion and a big presence. And it was something out of everything that needs to be done. And the other part, because a trade show is always 2 days, and it's a great place to be and a great place to build the momentum. But after a 2-day period, the momentum and the excitement goes. And unfortunately, if you're not there to support the brand and you're not there to do other things and keep promoting that and flashing the products, the ideas in front of the buyer's eyes, the momentum is gone, and they can't wait for another 363 days to come for the year to come. So our idea was, apart from that year that the COVID has made Nordic been postponed for next year, to actually sustain that report and presence and to create something, because we've got the two ends of the market. You've got the whole supply chain there and the prospect with ICA, United Nordic, the connections to be able to present and given that opportunity and build a brand. And here we also got the presence in Greece to be able to assist companies that would like to enter the market, to direct them towards certification bodies, to be able to get the certification when needed in order to enter the big market. So I think it's a very collective effort, and with the support of the brand building organization, Enterprise Greece, or whoever is going to be carrying the flag, is important in doing that, because we've seen that Italy is doing that successfully and has built a very good brand amongst both food and drink. Spain has been doing that, and much smaller countries are following that tactic. And it doesn't have to do with volume, it just has to do with the brand building, because consumers are doing that. And organizations like BLS and everyone else who is involved in the certification, and DEO that we had in the UK Organic, they play a very important role in supporting companies and showing them the market. And I would like to ask one last question to Despina, please, because you've got many members. We talked who you are, one of the largest organizations, and maybe larger in other aspects. And I would like to ask you, what do you do to help companies become more export ready? Have you got that facility? Because we talked, and you know that CRAV was one of the oldest organizations that has been supporting also companies. And Jochen was one of the people actually that helped with the Asian market, the export. And Soil Association in the UK, where I'm from, has been actually really actively involved over there. So what does BLS do, and what are your plans? What do you do? What are your plans in short?
For starters, talking about the brand, we have a very strong brand. The BLS organic steel is recognized both domestically and abroad among consumers when it comes to Greek organic products. You should keep in mind, I should remind you that Greece has not invested in a national logo. So a strong brand like CRAV and BLS definitely helps a quality product to be marketed and we also provide services in accordance to all the major and recognizable European private standards. So including, as we said before, verification services for CRAV. And that would offer to BLS certified products the added value that they need to export to those type of markets. So as a certification and control body, we invest in our brands, in our integrity, and we offer reliable services. I believe that Biola's brand actually might be one of the strongest in the European market. And I think that would be a great asset to any quality product.
Okay, thank you. Any tools? Are you planning to build any export tools specific for organizations? Certainly, Biolas is a logo and is a tool itself. But are you actually trying to create any export tools to the organizations hands-on?
Yeah, you should remember that we are controlling certification European body. There's not much that we are allowed to do with that, because that would be a conflict of interest. But we definitely support all our operators in participating with in every like, you know, for example, in Biofach, or doing, a partnership with all of the other standards that are there, so that we can offer whatever our clients need in terms of mostly certification, because that's our brand, right? That's the sector in which we operate.
Sure, brilliant, thank you. So. Before we leave, we had quite a lot of attendance. Spiros apologized for that. He had a problem with connections. They had a yesterday with the connections as well to do, although we did the test and it was fine. They had a problem with the connections, but he sends his apologies, and he's going to participating at the second event. We're planning to run a second event on the 9th of September. Is that right, Johan? Because we thought this was actually an event that Johan and I we decided on the last minute, because of the seasonality and because of the difficulties of getting Anita, Johan on board. We had Caroline as well, that she actually was able to attend from Organic Sweden, but she had an issue with some personal issues, and she was not able to. So it was something that we decided to actually create this live event, the first one, in order to create an introduction of the market with some key people, a top buyer like Johan Lund from that monopoly, but also to have the vast experience of Anita and Johan, who, despite being a partner in that venture, is a person with a wealth of the experience, and Organic carefully chose the momentum, and we discussed that properly because of the exposure that this is going to have, and we like also to make sure that we do something right and it's got a result and deliverables rather than be a one-off thing. So saying that, we had decided on the 9th of September to create another similar event, but it will have buyers from across the Nordic to represent different sectors. And this is to be able to give the possibility of the Nordic market and the Baltic market afterwards, and the connection, being one of the most successful and very promising markets for the Greek products with that. So this being the situation, Spiros is going to attend next event on the 9th, because Nordic market is a very, very important market for the dairy products and for family farm, as Despina said about the dairy product overall. Yes. And Greek family farm, which is part of Hochland, invested by percentage to that, is actually looking very, very eagerly in supporting and serving the market with the PDO feta cheese and other products, and go there and raise the awareness of the brand compared to the feta double T or feta style cheese that we know is a large chunk of the Nordic market. So there it comes, broad building. And Johan, I would like to pass on to you for any comments on Johan KG to our next event, and anything you like to conclude. I would like to thank everyone for being here, and I would like to leave the last word to you, Johan, and to close that. We had a phenomenal number of companies attending that, and thank you very much. So Johan, off to you, and thank you very much all for attending. Johan,
well, thank you, Antonis. Yes, thank you, Antonis. I think you've done a marvelous job here of moderating and contributing, just like that out of nothing. So thank you very much. Well, I mean, the next event is obviously going to be a key event where we have had some really good interest from key buyers and other people with market insights that are really, really important, that would be really useful as you are looking at entering the Nordic market for food. I think what's important to remember is that while this region is one of the most well integrated in Europe, we had a passport union since the 1950s and everything. Still, these are 4 or 5 different countries, so you need to find a way to enter a multi-dimensional market. But it's a good market. It's an interesting market. It's people are interested and awake, and I think it'll be a great success. And of course, the webinar next time then leads up to the event in November, which runs at about the same time as the Nordic Organic Food Fair would have run, where we run actual matchmaking meetings between Greek exporters and potential buyers in the Nordics. It's going to be good. It's going to be interesting. I think we'll have lots of fun. So I think that would be my closing words for now, Antonis.
Thank you very much. Well, we have over 43 companies that will be attending so far at the Nordic event. So which is a very good success in such a short notice. We expect over 60 companies on that. And we will be carefully selecting that. And we've been carefully selecting because we would like to get some good products, as Anita mentioned, that will be there to stay and invest. Is that right, Johan? Yes? Is that right, Johan? That's what we...
Yeah. So I think that what is the opportunity here for Greek products is to go with a quality products, not go for the blue ocean, if you wish, where you compete for price so much as, at least in the first stage, we would like to focus on quality products that can help establish a Greek presence, a Greek brand, as being a quality position on the market. So yes, we are looking for quality at the moment. We are looking for companies that provide quality and want to commit to stay on board for a while, because lasting the full race is going to be, what makes you a winner. So it's important to have the stamina, but we also need quality products, and that's where we plan to build the success.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all very much for being here. This actually live streaming is recorded, so it's going to be on our website. It's going to be circulated. Full Reporter is going to have a press release out with all that. So for you, Despina, and your people that didn't participate, we will send you the link, and people will be able to hear that discussion, and hopefully it was interesting for everyone that participated. Would you like to comment on anyone before we say anything? Johan, Despina, Johan, would you like to comment anything before we say bye and we get on with the rest of our days?
Well, I just want to mention again that I think certification is definitely the way to go, especially when you want to have an added value to a quality product in many type of market, especially the Nordic ones. And I think Greek products deserve a place in the Nordic shelves. both with quality and with flavor. And we also have the type of products that we only produce, like feta. And I thank you for the invitation. It was a lovely meeting, and a chance to discuss about Greek organic products with all of you. I wish you all the best.
Pleasure having you here. Jochen?
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure to be able to communicate a little bit about how our monopoly works. I know that it's a little bit strange for wine producers in countries where there's not a monopoly around. So, and the system we have are very complicated. I just want to say that if anyone has questions regarding how it works and details and things like that and how to get into the market, you're welcome to contact me, of course, to do that. And just one little detail, which I think is very important to know, that when we do have tenders and things like that, we always select on the quality of the wine, never on the brand, never who's done it, only on the quality of the wine. So only good wine gets into our market.
That's fantastic. I actually, I've got loads of questions, but now this one question, and then we're going to leave, I promise you, to Jochen. Jochen, we are very well linked with the wine sector in Greece, apart from loving the wine and all the things that you mentioned. We've got a big trade show, the London Wine Fair. We've got wineries over there, and we are System Export. We've got a massive show, the largest show in Hong Kong and China, where we get over there and we do exactly A to Z. And all part of that is to invite people, key people over here to see, taste, do that blind tasting, and do little master classes with our master of wines here, and sommeliers. So I'm mentioning that because soon is going to be, and we can't define when soon is going to be, when traveling is going to be available. We would like to invite you here, and we will be running some wine tasting sessions, and we would like to, with Jochen, to Jochen Cage, to invite you, Jochen Lund, and to be able to do some nice wine tastings over here, so you can have the tasting and to see what's happening in the country where it was sourced, so as to see the whole story. Would that be of interest? And with your opportunity, you can come your first time to Greece. Would that be
Yeah, I would love to do that. I really love to go to Greece.
Excellent. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much. Be safe, and I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you to all that attended. Thank you. Bye-bye.